Today is another case study. I'm interviewing a farmer and we are diving deep into her sales funnel. Her signature product is a CSA membership that is a buy down model. So we're going to talk through how that works, but also how does she get people into that sales funnel? How does she keep them there? And all the different spinning parts in her marketing machine. This is a good one. Let's get started.
Hey there, this is Corinna Bench, and welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast. In today's market, it's not enough to just grow your product. You've got to know how to sell it too. Welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast, where we reveal online marketing strategies and tips to help farmers like you get better and more confident at marketing. Learn how to find more customers, increase your sales, and build a strong brand for your farm. Let's start the show.
Well, welcome to episode 364 of the My Digital Farmer podcast. I'm your host, Corinna Bench, one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms out in Elmore, Ohio. I'm also the founder of mydigitalfarmer.com, which is all about trying to help other farmers like you get more confident in your marketing and sales strategy so that you can grow a profitable business. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the show. Big shout out to all of my digital farmers, my regular listeners, those of you binge listening. I got you. If you are new to the podcast, thanks for being here today. I encourage you to subscribe to the show. If you're new to the marketing lingo, then I encourage you to start at the beginning of the podcast. Listen to the first 10 episodes. I designed them long ago with my future audience in mind to help onboard people into the marketing space. So that's a great place to go to learn the ropes. Another place you could go is to get onto my free email list. Subscribe at mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. And when you do that, I'm going to send you an email like every 4 or 5 days for a good 3 months. And I have put those in a very specific order. Each one builds on the next, and they are designed to teach you the fundamentals of farm marketing. I point you to really good podcast episodes in this archive. I also share some tools, some resources, Canva templates, things to help you get started. It's really good. So you can subscribe for free at mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe.
Today's podcast is sponsored by my friends at Local Line. If you run a CSA or you sell direct or wholesale, or you manage both, Local Line helps you simplify your operations and scale with confidence. I love this platform. In 2025, farms and food hubs using Local Line grew their sales by 33%. Average order values increased by 31%, and total order count grew by 9%. That is real results across operations of all sizes. Local Line brings everything together into one platform. So CSA management, wholesale ordering, access to new wholesale opportunities. They have automated inventory, barcode scanning, a box builder. They even have a POS. And that means you spend less time managing admin and more time growing your business. Switching couldn't be easier. There are no setup fees, no sales commissions, and their onboarding team will even migrate your storefront for free, taking the workload off your plate. As a podcast listener, you'll get one premium feature free for a full year when you use the code MDF2026 at checkout. So head to mydigitalfarmer.com/local line, all one word, then use that code MDF2026 and you'll get that discount. Start the season strong with Local Line. It's streamlined, efficient, and built for growth. And now back to the show.
All right. Well, I am jumping right into the episode today because I have a guest on this show, Krista Barzen-Hansen, and she is one of the farmers at Thirsty Fruit Farm. And she was in farm marketing school for several months this past winter. She reached out to me with an email a few weeks ago, and she was kind of sharing some of the things she was trying and doing in her farm. And I told her, man, I'd love it if you could come on the show and we could just talk through your farm marketing funnel, kind of use you as a case study, and then give you a chance to show how you're developing some of the concepts you're playing around with. And she agreed and said yes. So I just got off the Zoom call with her, and wow, it was a great conversation. And I'm going to just drop the recording of that call right in here so you can listen in and see what you pick up on. She and I mostly talk through her CSA buy down membership model. That's kind of her signature product. But we go through her whole sales funnel, and she also kind of talks through her transformation, some of the ways she's really grown over the last year in terms of her marketing strategy, partly as a result of farm marketing school. Also, I think she's just a natural at experimenting and trying new things and learning from data. So I hope you get a lot out of this episode and interview. I love doing these case study interviews because it helps you guys see other people just like you who are in the trenches trying to figure out how to do marketing, trying to apply it to your everyday lives. And a lot of it is just testing things out, as we mentioned in the podcast, playing in the sandbox. And so to see how another farm's doing it, what stage of growth she's currently in, what things are on the horizon, she's got so much potential as her farm is continuing to expand its product offerings. So I hope you get some good nuggets out of here. And I want you to think through the lens of your business, listen for the marketing principles that are at play here in her story and how do they apply to you. So I'm going to, without further ado, read her bio, and then we'll drop right into the episode. So Krista Barzen-Hansen is an environmental chemist turned farmer. She and her husband Brad started Thirsty Fruit Farm in upstate New York during the pandemic. They farm about 10 acres of certified organic fruit and vegetables, and they sell direct to consumer through their buy down CSA farm share using their local line account. They also have an online store and a farm stand. Krista oversees the vegetable operation as well as the marketing, and she is full of ideas, as you will soon see. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Krista to the show. Well, Krista, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Corinna. It's an honor to be here.
I'm excited to introduce you to our audience. For people who haven't met you before, tell us a little bit about your farm business. Give us the whole scope, what you grow, what you serve, how your business is structured, wherever you want to start.
Sure. My husband and I run Thirsty Fruit Farm. It's located right outside of Ithaca, New York, and we grow certified organic fruits and vegetables. We farm on about a third of an acre of vegetables, and that's high intensity market garden style production. And then we have about 3 acres of blueberries and maybe 5 or so acres of stone fruit, like peaches and nectarines and plums, and then a handful of raspberries and blackberries.
And tell us
And
some of the different outlets, like how do you sell them?
so our primary focus is CSA, and
Mhm.
our CSA is a little bit different than the traditional or free choice models, and we can get into that a little bit more. And we also have an online store similar, I think, to what you have, where customers can just order week to week. And we have a farm stand that's located off-site that's stocked weekdays.
That's a lot. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about how your CSA is different. I'm intrigued.
So we use the formal title is a buy down model.
Mhm.
And instead of you have, say, 20 weeks or 18 weeks of vegetables, and I guess in the traditional way, you're just given a box of vegetables.
Mhm.
And after talking with a lot of my customers, they really hated that model and they got stuck with too many turnips, too many parsnips. Kale was another one that they just really hated and
Mm.
never wanted to see kale again. And they also felt just overwhelmed with the sheer volume of vegetables that they were getting each week. And so after listening to them, said, well, why don't we start a different kind of CSA where they have a set amount of money at the start of the season and they spend it down on whatever products they want in our online store. And so they can, if they're going on vacation, they can just not place an order that week and not have any penalty or frantically scramble to get somebody else to pick up their share. And they do get certain perks, which is easier with local line this year, where they are getting first access to a lot of our fruit as it comes in. So it's looking to be a really good fruit year.
Yeah, and you have tomatoes this year. I know that's kind of a big thing around here right now too. Like no one has tomatoes, and so
Not yet.
oh, okay.
There.
Well, I mean, we don't have them yet, but like there's a tomato shortage apparently, and um, nationwide, or at least in our region, and so they're all excited about the fact that they can lock in tomatoes with us. Okay, so a buy down model. When did you switch to that?
We always, that's what we started with.
Oh, okay. And how long have you
Mm.
been doing CSA?
This is our second year running a CSA. We've done just the online store and farm stand for 4 years now. This will be our fourth season.
Okay. And what would you say are the most popular vegetables or fruits that are catching the eye of potential new customers? Like what helps people discover you?
The combination of fruit and vegetables available in a single share caught a lot of people's eye, and just the flexibility,
Hmm.
honestly, to choose what they want and not have to worry if they skip a week or
Hmm.
two to go on vacation.
Hmm.
So a lot of my customers travel in the summer as well.
Yeah.
And also a lot of them have gardens of their own. And so they want the flexibility to supplement their garden and maybe not have to worry about planting lettuce every 2 weeks. So they get lettuce from us, but as soon as their tomatoes come in their garden, they're set on tomatoes.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I always say that every sales funnel has an ideal customer. And what would you say? You kind of have three different types of products here, honestly,
Mhm.
three different sales funnels. So maybe this
Yep.
is a trick question. But can you see any similarities? What can you teach my audience about the kind of customers that are attracted to CSA versus online store versus farm stand? Like what are some of the things that you see and that you, I guess, lean into when you do your messaging?
So I'm focused mostly on CSA in my
Mhm.
messaging so far. And after talking with last year's CSA members and doing some interviews with them, I discovered that a lot of them have gardens. Like almost 60% of my members last year had a garden to various extents. They really appreciate knowing where their food comes from. They have peace of mind knowing that they're supporting a local farm and they're keeping money in their community. And also, there's a sustainability aspect that's important to them as well, where they are reducing their carbon footprint and feel pride in showing off their local produce when friends and family come to visit.
This is so good. I'm taking notes while you're talking, and none of this stuff that you just said is new to me. Like I've heard this a lot when I talk to other farmers or when I interview other farmers and I ask them a similar question. I feel like I hear the same list, and maybe some of our listeners right now are nodding their heads like, "Yep, yep, I've heard that before." Yes, and I wanted to stop and make a point that yes, this is similar. This is the same thing we've always heard, but how many of us are saying this back, right? When we're marketing, I know it sounds kind of boring to us, like, oh, yeah, nothing new. That's what we've always known. But we need to actually continue to talk about these things. That list you just gave, like, that's what we talk about again and again and again, because that's what your ideal customer is thinking and feeling. And then when they see you say it on on your website or in your social or wherever you're advertising, they're like, yes, that's me. And so I just want to throw in a little coaching moment there. You're doing that. I'm just saying to anyone listening, like, do the work of figuring out who your ideal customer is. I love that you interviewed them, and you'll probably hear this list and just talk about those things. So I love that. Where are you putting this in your messaging? Like, how do you take that information and then mirror it back?
So I used it a lot in my emails,
Hmm.
particularly in the lead up to my CSA launch back in February,
Hmm.
and particularly in my 5-day launch for CSA shares in February. A lot of that material and those phrases I repeated again and again in those emails.
Yeah.
And then also in my social strategy, I was starting to tease out like posts and reels about incorporating some of the things that my ideal customer values.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, we're going to get into that a little more deeply later on in the episode. Um, but I want to actually start out by you've already kind of begun the journey that I want to take us down here, but I always like to start out my case studies with a survey of what is your actual sales funnel look like. And those of you who are listening, if you're not familiar with the concept of a sales funnel and that's new language to you, this is basically like the roadmap that a typical prospect takes through your brand from becoming completely unaware from the point of being completely unaware you exist to becoming a frequent buyer and hopefully ultimately a super fan. And a lot of businesses will create these little milestone moments, mechanisms in their business that kind of coach them along the journey to help them turn into a super fan. So, Krista, can you tell me, let's just start at the beginning. Um, how do people find out about you? I guess, where are you going? Where are those people that you know like you, will like you? Or where are they hanging out? Where are you targeting your time and energy? And then like, so how do they find out about you? What's that mechanism look like to build awareness?
I have a couple different places. The first is social media. A lot of
Hmm.
my local customers are on Facebook and a subset are on Instagram. And so both of those two accounts are pretty much the same from day to day, trying to reach both of those audiences with top of funnel content. And then our Google presence is fairly
Mm.
strong. And a lot of our customers have told me that they found us just through a simple Google search.
Hmm.
And so I'm,
What were they searching for? Do you know that? Like, what was the phrase? If you don't know that, that's
I
okay.
didn't, yeah, I
I'm just
didn't
wondering if they're like
specifically
typing in
ask.
CSA or are they typing in organic veggies or just veggies or farmers? Be interesting to know that. That's okay. I put you on the spot there. You're like, I don't know.
Well, based on Google Analytics, it looks like during CSA sign up season, like CSA gets a lot of hits
Hmm.
where we
Okay.
show up.
Okay. And
And there's,
re
I think, a geolocation
yes.
component too.
Yeah. Now remind me, I don't think you've told us this yet. How big is your CSA this year going to be?
About 40
Okay,
members.
cool. Um, all right. So you've got Google presence, you've got Facebook. Is there anywhere else that you are going or any other methods you're using to try and find new people?
And my husband runs a medical practice as
Hmm.
well. And there's a email sign up sheet in the waiting room
Okay.
that collects a decent number of people.
Yeah. Do you have any like referral? Like, do you try to use your current customers to bring in new people a little bit?
I haven't put any formal thing in place, but I know some of my CSA members just talk us up all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of the top of the funnel. What happens, what do you have in place to try to coach those people once they find out about you to get onto your list or just to take another step closer? What does that look like?
So I have a veggie storage guide lead magnet on our website that I'm also promoting on social.
Hmm.
And so people primarily sign up for my email list through one of those lead magnet forms.
Hmm.
There's also a handwritten form in our farm stand if they want to stay in the know. And then, like I said before, the medical office waiting room.
I love that. Now, I'm just curious because we're talking about CSA right now, but you do have other doorways into your business. I would assume that the CSA is probably, well, maybe it isn't. Is it the first door that most people take, or is it something that they graduate to after having been at the farm stand or shopping in your online store?
It really depends. It seems like a lot of the people that shop the farm stand just want to shop the farm stand.
Okay.
And so I don't think there's really going to be any possibility of them turning into a CSA member. And surprisingly, a lot of our members sign up for the CSA cold turkey. And I get a lot of new subscribers that way. But our like price point for our small share is reasonable. It's about
Mhm.
$300, which again fits with their garden
Yeah.
and trying to balance because a $600 share is just too much.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see the longer that you do this, um, how if you can get that average order value to go up over the years, like, or do they just max out at 300 or do they restock their store credit once they run out, or when do they run out so that they can restock? It'll just kind of be fun to watch that trend, to see
I
if you can get
think
that to go higher.
I think once the fruit comes in, uh, before this
Yeah.
year, we haven't really had much in the way of fruit, so it's mostly been veggies.
Hmm.
But I anticipate them blowing through a lot of their CSA money with the fruit and wanting vegetables through October. And
Yeah.
so adding additional money or just
Yeah.
keeping or ordering more and just paying with a card is
Right.
something that some of them do already.
Right. And you use local line, as
Yep.
I recall. Um, so what is the logistics of if someone's buying? I mean, I know how I do it. I'm kind of curious how you do because I have a similar online store credit membership. That's a mouthful, but it's basically I don't know what else to call it yet. I'm calling them my store patrons right now. Um, but when they buy, they buy the product in local line, but then I have to go in and manually like go into their customer account and then add that into their store credit amount. Is that how you're doing it too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Which is it's fun. We did a beta test this year of 30 people. I ended up letting 50 in because it sold out so fast. So it was manageable. Like I can do that for 50 people one time, but if it was
Yep.
a lot of people, I'm like, ooh, that'd be some hard work. Okay, so I just want to help clarify for our listeners how this actually works, that you do have to go in. It's that extra step. But the good news is when they buy, they use a credit card to purchase that, right? And so
Yep.
you could come back in later on in the season, which is what I'm planning to do if this happens. If a lot of them start to buy down and they zero out their store credit, I'm going to offer like a booster pack midway through and just say, "Hey, do you need more money? Let's do this again." And then, maybe do a quick promo for that. And that's kind of a nice getting them into that habit, and they'll be like, yes, I need your stone fruit, Krista, or your blueberries or whatever. Yeah. Okay, I digressed. I'm sorry. So you have a way of getting them on your list. And then I was asking about those other places if they help you get them on your list. I wanted to tell you that because your online store outlet, that is your third
Mhm.
kind of revenue stream, it's probably very similar to the experience, at least is very similar to basically what your CSA is, since you have a buy down model. It's just that people have pre-bought as opposed to, deciding to buy in the moment. So I guess I can understand why um, the CSA would be an easy access, easy entry into the brand, because especially if it's just a $300 price point, people can
Mhm.
imagine like spending that much, easily spending that much in a season. So I love that. Okay. Um, so when you're in on social media, pushing the list, pushing the first offer, are you talking much about the farm stand and the online store? Or are you really more leaning into join our CSA buy down model? Like, is that your first offer?
During CSA sign up season, I'm only talking about
Mm,
CSA.
so good.
And then now that I'm going to close the doors to CSA this weekend, and
Mhm.
then I'll be switching to talking primarily about the online store and
Yeah.
probably a couple static posts once a week or every other week. Like, hey, we have a farm stand, it's here, and just doing some FAQs about that of where it's located, how it works, what payment methods we accept.
Yeah. When you look at your revenue stream, which of these three outlets is making you the most revenue, or are they pretty equal?
CSA for sure.
Okay. So that's a clue. Those of you who are listening, when you're thinking about how do I spread out my time and my resources in terms of advertising, people often ask me, like, how much time should I be spending on these different things? And you look at what's making you the money.
Mhm.
And that's where you're spending more of your time, like trying to get people through that. Or if you're trying to grow a particular outlet, then I think that also merits spending a little extra time and resources on that. Today's podcast is sponsored by Farm Marketing School, my monthly membership for farmers. Before we dive back into the episode, I want to speak to a very specific kind of farmer for a second. If you're a year or two into your business and things are working, but your marketing still feels kind of scattered, like you're posting, you're sending some emails, you're running promotions, but it all feels disconnected and you're not sure what's actually driving sales. I just want to say that's not a lack of effort. That's just a lack of structure. Because most farmers don't need more ideas. What they need is a system that connects everything together. And that's exactly why I built Farm Marketing School. Inside, I teach you how to actually design your marketing so that it works like a machine, a system, not a bunch of random tactics. We map out your full customer journey. We build your email engine. We create intentional promotions and product pathways. So your marketing starts handing off from one piece to the next like a relay race instead of you running every leg yourself. And we do it through 30-day project builds. So you're not just learning about marketing, you're actually finishing things. You're actually building the marketing assets in your marketing machine, your sales funnel, your promotions, your lead magnet, your weekly email rhythm, all your marketing assets. And that's when the shift happens. Marketing starts to feel lighter. The flywheel starts to spin. Sales start to feel more predictable. And you finally feel like, okay, I'm on the right track. I know what I'm doing. If that's what you've been longing for and what you've been missing, then I want to invite you to join Farm Marketing School just for a month. Come inside and see what it's all about. You can learn more at mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. And now back to the show. I also love, I just want to also just applaud you because what you just told us here is that you switch your focus, your messaging focus based on the season, which totally is brilliant. Like we're not pushing a product in a season when it's not really the season for talking about it. You know, there's an ideal time for every sales funnel. And so when it people are in the thought pattern of maybe joining a CSA, that's when you're really hitting it hard and you don't really talk a lot about the other stuff. Like I'm not talking about my chicken share right now. It's just I could sell 10 more, but I'm mostly sold out. And like I'm just still trying to fill out. I've got 2 weeks left before I shut my doors to the CSA too. And so I'm all about that. And then there will come a point when I stop talking about that and my focus turns on to just join our online store list, online store list, online store list for like 5 months, right? So that's smart. Were you going to
And
say something? I interrupted you.
I actually am taking a pivot right now. The CSA messaging is kind of falling off a
Hmm.
little bit. And I did a beta test plant sale.
You did?
Kind
I
of,
was going to
I
ask
did.
you if you have all these gardeners. I was like, oh, I wonder if she's going to do that.
Yeah, kind of last minute. I'm like, and took in one of my emails, I asked them if people would be interested in getting plants from us, because there are a lot of other farms that do purchase that do sell plants as well. And I got a lot of good feedback saying like, yeah, we'd love that.
Hmm.
And so I just grew some with the seeds that I had left
Hmm.
over from my production and pitched it to my email list. I didn't really talk about it on social and made, I think, 4 times what I sold last year in plant sales. And then the pickup was last Friday and sent another email in case people didn't pre-order to get them to just show up and buy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
overall, we made about 10 times what we did last year.
Amazing. And all you did was send an email.
Right. Yep.
Doesn't that feel amazing? This doesn't have to be hard. Yeah. Tell me how many people are on your email list if you're comfortable doing that.
Have about 280.
Okay. Wow. That's great. That's great results. Okay, cool. All right. So your first purchase then, let me just clarify, your first offer that you're advertising depends on the season. So if it's
Mhm.
kind of, well, shortly before right now, I guess, you're pitching the, what do you call it? Online store membership or
I
CSA, sorry,
call it
CSA buy down, or what do you call it?
a CSA farm share.
Oh, you do still call it a CSA farm share. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Um, do you find that it's confusing explaining it?
I haven't had really
No?
any questions.
Okay.
The onboarding, now that I'm getting gearing up to start it, it's a little more explanation on the back end.
Yeah.
But my primary focus in how I sell our CSA is you're not locked into a box, which resonates with a lot of people because they
Hmm.
told me that, and flexibility.
Got it. Now, are there competitors of yours around you that do the traditional model?
Yeah,
So there's familiarity in the culture around you of CSA. You don't have to do a lot of explaining what a CSA even is, like I do.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, that helps. Yeah, being in New York, I'm sure you have a lot of that jargon. Okay, you mentioned onboarding. Let's talk about the the part that a lot of farmers forget about. Once somebody buys, what are you doing to take care of the customer and make sure they have a good transition and onboarding into the experience and their a success path, basically?
But it's a work in progress. I
Hmm.
just listened to your Success Path podcast for the second time
Yeah,
yesterday.
it was a good one. It was
It
like
was.
a deep dive. Yeah.
So when they initially purchase, they get an automatic email from my email service provider saying, like, hooray, you're in.
Hmm.
Here's where you send your payment if you didn't pay by card. And then in the future, I think I'm going to take off the requiring them to create an account. So I think that's
Mm,
causing a lot of friction
mm.
for signups in the online store for CSA, and just have that as a second step in the initial process is, hey, create an account
Now
if
that you're
you want.
in, yeah.
Yeah,
Because you can't access your credit unless you log in. You can't
right.
get it as a guest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really important that they do that and make sure that they're logged in to do that.
That's good. I'm going to steal that. That's a great idea. Keep going. Yep.
And so it's just training them like, okay, I know it was annoying that you had to make an account, but you really need this in order to for you to have the best experience
Hmm.
with our CSA. And then that's really it in terms of like initial hooray excitement. And they get
Hmm.
funneled into my regular email list, and I'm
Hmm.
emailing weekly, even during the off season, with things that I know that they'd be interested in, and farm happenings and blog posts. And and then as the season gets closer, my blog post focus shifts again back to CSA, but actually more practical tips on like here's how 3 ways that you can meal plan, or like top 10 kitchen gadgets that you might want for the season.
Hmm.
And so those two just went out in the last couple weeks. And then I'll be later this afternoon making a screen share video that walks them through how to place an order in the online store.
Good. I was going to ask if you were doing that. Yes. Good.
Yeah, I didn't last year and it was a disaster. It was a
Hmm.
bit chaotic for the first couple weeks. And
So,
then,
so smart. That's an example that I talked about in last week's podcast. Well, not last week's. This will go out in the future, but um, yeah, where you have to, sometimes you have to teach people the processes that they have to learn. And so this would qualify. I'm sorry, interrupted.
yeah.
What else did you want to share about your Excite phase?
And then I think it's going to be lumped into one big, massive email this time, but I want to spread it out over a couple weeks in the future,
Mm,
is just giving them a firm start date, which is a little tricky
hmm.
given the spring weather,
Yeah.
and then saying like put a grocery bag in your car
Hmm.
for when you pick up, and then having an email with FAQs explaining like the typical questions that they have
Yeah.
as the season starts, like is there anything off limits in the online store? When does the online store close? When do I have to get the order in? When should I order for the best selection? And a lot of my returning members now learn that they need to get in there Monday at like 6 a.m. to get the best stuff
Yeah.
because things fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Awesome.
the screen share email will go out, and then it'll be the start of the season.
Okay. So you're communicating all of this through email.
Yep.
Okay. And I just want to throw that out to the audience. Like, I know I have a Facebook group and I do extra onboarding in there, but you don't have to have a Facebook group. Like, you can just do all of this through email. That's great. A lot of people don't. I feel like more and more people are getting off Facebook, honestly. I don't know if my Facebook group will be around in a few years, or have the same strength that it does right now, but you can certainly just do it through email. And I love that you have a process and you're continuing. It sounds like you're also seeing the potential to continue to revamp it and expand
Mhm.
it or adjust it. And that, I want to validate that, because that's how I did it too. Like, I just put something out there the first year, and every year I tweak it a little. Or I'm like, oh, I like this idea. Oh, this sounds cool. And I add stuff. And after a few years, you have a nice machine, like a nice little system that you feel good about, and you just repeat it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So you are saving this stuff, right? So you can just redo it next year.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. And I'm trying with every email I send to do an evaluation about a week or so later, and I write down what the open and click-through rates, if
Mm.
there was anything to click, and then what worked, what didn't work, and what I'd change for the future.
Hmm.
And specifically for things like CSA launches, the plant sale,
Yeah.
and the onboarding, making sure that I have specific notes on that
Yeah.
so I can easily find it rather than just looking through
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah. Again, so smart. Um, I'm going to be adding a project into farm marketing school that teaches this structure and organization, but like it's basically creating your a Google folder system for all your promotions so that I have a Google Doc now for every major promotional event. I would even call CSA onboarding like its own Google Doc, even though I'm not promoting something, but it's kind of like an event. It's a thing, a cycle that I do every year. And it's describing what you're basically doing, what you just said there, where the plant sale, the CSA launch, all the major like big promos, the chicken share that I did on January, they each have their own folder, and I spell out here were the emails, here's the links to the emails in Kit so that I can go find them and duplicate them. Here was the special offers, this is the stats, the results, how quickly they came in, the money I made, so that next year I can just go back and easily find, oh, here's the folder for CSA onboarding. Here were the 5 emails I sent, right? And just quickly see it and tweak it. Sometimes I even stick the images right in there so I can that we're on Canva, plus the Canva folder link, right? So it's all just waiting for me to go in and duplicate. And it sounds like you're creating a system like that for every little mini process. I don't do that for all of my weekly emails yet, because I feel like that's a little too volatile. But yeah, for some of the major promotions, it's a smart move. Okay, I want to finish up the funnel conversation because I have these very specific questions that I want to ask you about some of your innovations. Um, so bottom of the funnel is the 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 part of the story where we're trying to get them to come back. So they've made their initial purchase, they bought this CSA buy down model thing, and now how are we getting them to come back and buy again? Like, what does your product ascension ladder look like? What are some other things you could pitch them throughout the year? How do you turn them into super buyers?
It's a great question and something that's still a work in progress.
Hmm.
For me, I
Well, the
had,
plant sale is a great example. Like you created a
yep,
plant sale line,
yep.
right? So you're developing these other ideas. Keep going. Sorry.
And in my weekly email to my CSA members, which is different from the rest of my list, I had like a storage tip or a little recipe in there
Mhm.
every single week, teaching them how to use specific vegetables. And I think that was really helpful for them to experience success.
Hmm.
But honestly, I think the reason why a lot of them came back is because they have a relationship with me
Yeah.
and they get to see me every week at pickup when they get their shares, and I get to know them on a more personal level as well. And so
Is
being
your
able,
is your husband there too, or is it just you? Are you kind of the face of the farm?
I'm the face of the farm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so the pickup is done at your farm. I
Yep.
didn't ask that question. Okay. Are there any other locations that you go to, or is it so they're
No.
coming to the farm then too? And
Yeah.
that's got like a special energy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, I'd love to see. I should go look at pictures on your website, but like, I bet it's just, is it one of these like idyllic, like you just come in and you see farm? Like, is it the textbook gorgeous farm where you're like, oh, this is what I imagine a farm being like? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're up in the hills and a lot of people say like you have a gorgeous view from up here.
Yeah. And that's
Mm,
part of the experience that you're giving them is the
yeah.
chance to come once a week and like breathe the fresh air and see the view and imagine like, oh, I get to have a glimpse of this kind of a life for 30 minutes a week. And yeah,
Yeah.
not to miss out on that.
And I get to pet our dogs, and if they bring their kids and it's not busy, I'll take the kids out
Hmm.
in the field for them to pick carrots, or if it's fruit season,
Mm.
take them out to the blueberries or strawberries and let them
Yeah.
sample.
Krista, how big do you foresee the CSA getting one day? Like, do you have an upper ceiling, like a limit?
I don't plan on expanding the veggies at all because they're quite labor intensive.
Hmm.
So I think we max could probably go 50
Hmm.
with veggies, but since our fruit is going to
Yeah.
be coming in the next couple of years, I'm not sure how significant, like how much of people's shares is going to be dedicated to fruit versus
Hmm.
vegetables. So I might be able to increase
Hmm.
the number of shares just because we have more fruit and that's what people tend to like a little more than
Yeah.
vegetables.
Yeah.
So I don't really know at this
Yeah.
point.
And you may discover that the market may tell you in a few years as your production increases that suddenly there are new opportunities like you pick. I'm not saying you have to
Yeah.
do you pick, but you're just becoming more of a fruit farm.
Mhm.
Maybe it's more retail, storefront. I don't know. Like you'll just kind of be able to tell where the energy is taking you. I asked that question about your maximum capacity because you said that your connection with your customers, your one-on-one, that you're still very accessible.
Yep.
And one of the problems that begins to surface when you scale, like for us, our CSA, it gets bigger and bigger, is that you have to create systems to manage all these customers. And how do you continue to provide that special like connection that you had when you were still small
Mhm.
and you only had 30 or 40 people? So for those of you listening who are on the smaller side still, realize that this is a position of great power, that there are things that you can do right now that will be harder to do when you get large. Um, that's just the nature of we only have so much time and energy to be able to connect with people. And so just lean into that ability to leverage the one-to-one connection because that's it builds a lot of loyalty with your initial clients and creates momentum that you can kind of launch from as you grow your business. Okay. Um, all right, so it sounds like your bottom of funnel is still developing, which is
Yep.
completely normal. And I want to encourage you, that's probably your opportunity in your
Mhm.
sales funnel. The ascension ladder, I know you know this because you were in farm marketing school. This is more for teaching the people listening right now, but the ascension ladder is where you make your money in your business. So the more you can get people to come back and buy again in a given year because you have more offers, more products sometimes, more options, more collaborations. Every time you pull that order frequency to come back and buy again, you are increasing the customer lifetime value. And so the higher you can get that, the more revenue you'll make. So that is something I want you to keep looking out for this coming season. It sounds like you took advantage of that with a plant sale. You saw that people are gardening and you're like, aha, I can sell them plants. But now that you've got the blueberries and the stone fruit coming into the equation here, be looking for like ways that how can I leverage that? Can I make jams? Can I, go into value add? Can I create U-Picks? Can I create parties? I don't know. Who knows? That'll be fun. That'll be fun to develop. All right, you wrote me this beautiful email. I didn't even say that at the beginning of this episode, but you sent me an email that was just so cool. You've been a part of farm marketing school in the past, and you were letting me know that you'd listened to a podcast, and you just kind of gave me a whole like bullet point list of things that you were trying and doing in your business. And I thought, wow, this is great. Can you come on the show and we can talk about some of this stuff that you're doing? Um, I want to focus on the social media stuff first. You mentioned that you've been posting more consistently since last July, and we're recording this in May, so that's almost a year now. Um, that's really huge because consistency is the key when it comes to social.
Mhm.
So, how did you, I guess, what shifted for you mentally that helped you finally be able to stick with it? Because that's hard. A lot of people are like, yes, I'm going to post more frequently, and then we just lose our gumption. our focus, whatever. Things get busy. So how did you hold the line there?
So I needed a framework,
Hmm.
really, and a system for social media. So in your social media project, you had thrown out some ideas, and I took that and ran with it. So each
Hmm.
day of the week was a different topic.
Hmm.
And I ended up realizing that I had a lot more to talk about than there were days of the week
Right? I know.
when
It's
I
like,
sat down and
ah.
did it. And I don't fully remember all of them at this point because that my posting strategy has changed since then, but
Yeah.
I had a product of the week that I would be spotlighting, and Monday's post would just be like, this is the product, this is why we like it. You probably would too. Tuesdays were alternating online store and farm stand. The farm stand ones did a lot better than the online store ones, which I found fascinating. Wednesday was revisiting the product of the week and giving them a cooking tip or ways to store it or prepare it. And Thursday was, I think, what I made for dinner using our produce. Meet the Farmer was Friday. And then I
Mm.
think Saturday and Sunday were more FAQ type posts. And so once I had the days of the week lined out of like, this is what I'm posting on this day, I just looked at what was in season and said, okay, garlic scapes will be in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
Let's teach people how to use garlic scapes. And then
So
it
they'll
just,
buy them. Yeah.
yeah. And then it just kind of evolved from there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So it was all about having a framework, you
Yep.
said,
Yep.
and realizing that there are so many categories of things that one could talk about and just making a decision like these are going to be the five or the six. Did you
Yep.
post every day? Did you schedule
I
or did
did
you?
schedule
Yeah. Yeah. How often are you going in and doing that work?
once a week.
Okay. I think when I originally wrote that project, I might have suggested to do it monthly, and I'm now doing it weekly because I found that monthly wasn't it was more time in the computer in one sitting, but then I also felt like I wasn't as current. Like I was making guesses about what would be, you know, good in 3 weeks, and then it would always end up really needing to be a different message. So plus I have pictures of things happening in the moment that I want to put in there. So awesome. You also mentioned something about video reels. Are you using reels on Instagram and Facebook or
Yeah,
okay.
on
And so
both.
what was that strategy with the reel content?
So I had follow M. Connors
Hmm.
from the Creative Bodega, and she had posted and wrote about in her newsletter about one of her members having doing a tip jar reel. And so they just had questions about whatever product or service they were selling. They pulled a question out of the jar, read it on camera, and then just answered it on the spot.
Hmm.
And said, well, that's an easy, low entry way for me to get more comfortable behind the camera and posting my face and talking online for everybody to see.
Hmm.
And so I did some brainstorming and came up with 20 questions about my CSA that were designed to overcome objections and
Mm.
answer questions that people may have about joining a CSA if they already have a garden and how they can work
Mm.
synergistically. How does pickup work in the grand scheme of if I have to go on vacation and those types of things?
Hmm.
And so I just batched filmed them, and just put them up once a week on Fridays. And
Okay, so it was a weekly content post. You weren't
yep,
doing one every day for a season for like a launch period or whatever.
no,
Okay. And so you posted them as a Instagram reel.
yep,
Um, and then they were running for that whole week, and then but you batched them. So you sat
yeah,
down, did the work, and then you just went in once a week. You timed it or scheduled it
yeah,
to make
correct.
sure you went. Okay, I gotcha.
Yep,
Smart use of
yeah,
time.
yeah. And so I I initially, when I had a little more time during the winter, would go into Canva and like take a pretty picture of a nice headshot of me whenever I did a batch, and then I'd write the question as the cover image for the
Okay,
reel. But
got it.
now
Now
I
you're just yeah.
I'm just post now I'm just
Yeah,
posting
right. I was the same way with stuff too. Yeah, at first you get all like you're perfectionist about it, and then after a while you're like, whatever. This is good. It's
because
the good enough concept, right?
yeah,
Like, is it getting results? It is. So why am I making this harder? Yeah.
yeah. And with the auto captioning
Yes.
feature in the scheduler, I'm like,
So
I don't
good.
even need to go into Canva to get the captions. I can just check the box and they appear.
Yes. Perfect. So give me a few more examples of what some of those tip questions were, if you can. I know you gave
I
a
have a
few.
garden. Do I really need a CSA? Is
Mm,
this going to add more stress to my life?
mm,
What if I don't know how to cook something? Do I have to meal plan around what I get? What if I'm a beginner with vegetables? What's the most beginner friendly vegetable to start with? How long do your vegetables really last? What if I don't like something I ordered? What makes your CSA different from others in the area?
mm. These are good. Would you be willing to share that whole list with me and I can put it in the show notes?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. All right, everyone, you're going to go to the show notes for this episode. I don't know what number that is yet because I'm still just recording the episode, but I'll make sure you know that at the end of the show, and we'll just have them listed there. Cool. I love this tip, and I'm going to start doing that. Um, I don't know why it's harder for me mentally to make a reel. It's the exact same process. I do stories all the time. It's the exact same process, and I think what I do now usually is I just do it as a story and then I save the video and then I turn that into a reel. So I don't know why I have this block around clicking the reel button instead of I mean it's just a video, but whatever.
And I
Okay.
should say that I take the video in the camera app of my phone
Okay.
and then download it and use it in Meta Business Suite
Okay.
to schedule it.
Okay.
So I don't
So
do anything in the Instagram app except a story on occasion.
okay. That's good to know because I was assuming that you were going in every Friday onto your phone, finding that video you'd made and uploading it as a reel, but you're actually scheduling it. So you're doing everything with your actual camera app. Okay. And then it saves to your phone automatically. You don't have to say download it. Okay, cool. A few more questions here. Let's talk about beta testing. So you mentioned that you're getting ready to beta test a You Pick Blueberry event. This is something you told me in your email, using primarily your email list. So I want you to talk a little bit about that experiment. I love that you're beta testing. This whole concept of beta testing is huge and it can really empower people. Um, and what are you excited about with this project?
So something that I didn't mention to you before we got on here is I'm running a beta test currently
Oh,
because I'm picking strawberries right now in our tunnel, and I'm eventually going to have too much
mm-hmm,
for my family to eat.
mm-hmm,
And so I'm teasing on social, and that's pretty much what I'm talking about now for probably the next 2 weeks is strawberry season,
Mm-hmm.
and showing pictures of the various stages of strawberries, intermixing some educational reels about this is a strawberry flower. Every single flower will turn into a strawberry type content. And
Mm-hmm.
then had an idea last night of what some of the things that I make with the strawberries,
Mm-hmm.
just to tease the whole experience from flower to harvest to end use,
Mm-hmm.
and saying that they need to get on my email list in order to be notified when strawberries are ready.
Yes. Oh, brilliant.
And once they come in and my email list gets notified, like I'm gonna shut up about strawberries on social and
And switch to the next thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And so is that what you're planning to do with your blueberry, your You Pick Blueberry event? Something similar or
Yeah, we were waiting to see how the frost situation played out
sure.
before putting any more thought into planning something like that. So we need to make sure we have a crop first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to tease on social like, hey, we're gonna have two You Pick events and two Saturdays in July.
Hmm.
This is the only time you'll be able to pick them. If you want to know the
Hmm.
dates and sign up, you got to
Yeah.
be on my email list.
Yeah. You could even make it where they can only, because it's beta test, they can only do it if they RSVP. And that kind of
Yep.
forces them to get on the
Mhm.
email list. They can't just show up. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
brilliant. This is something that I feel like I talked about this in an episode, but maybe it was on Instagram stories. I'm constantly switching the bait to get onto the produce availability list. And just you're describing a very similar process to what I use. So we're in the middle, well, we're at the end of asparagus season right now here at the end of May when we're recording this. And so I would say like in early April, middle April, I was taking them out to the asparagus fields where I knew it was going to start popping up soon. I began to point my camera at it and talk about how we're excited asparagus is coming soon. I would share pictures of asparagus from last year in the stories, on social, just kind of being like, it's almost time. Are you getting excited for 2 weeks? And it was just like a ploy to get people on the list. Like if you want to know when the asparagus comes in, so you can pre-order because it's going to be limited amounts at first, like you got to be on my list. And it's a big list builder. And then when the next that's over now, so I'm not really talking much about asparagus anymore, but when the next thing comes, like we're going to have gooseberries here and currants, like we'll start teasing that as the way to get on our list because there's only so many berries. And if you want to be getting access to the store, you've got to be on the list, blah, blah, blah. So you just keep switching the bait. Um, I know you know this, Krista. I'm like having a teaching moment with my audience right now. Thank you for indulging me. But you would just switch the content then on that same subscribe form. It's generically written, but I can go in and like mention, switch out a few words and mention the plant sale or the asparagus or whatever that current bait is, kind of goes in there and then I switch it out. So those of you who aren't doing that yet, follow Krista's lead. It's a brilliant idea. Um, okay, what is let's move to farm marketing school real quick because you've mentioned it here at the beginning. Before you joined farm marketing school, uh, what did it feel like to try and market your stuff? I'm trying to figure out like what problem did it solve for you? Like what made you think I want to try going in there? And then how did that change after you'd been in there for a few months?
So marketing just felt like work and a shot in the dark.
Hmm.
And sure, I had an email list and I was trying to be a little more regular about emailing them, but it never really seemed to land
Hmm.
with them. And the effort that I was putting in didn't really seem to show in our sales.
Hmm.
And so with farm marketing school, I was able Like I honestly binged a lot of the courses in the time
Good.
that I was in there and like got the metrics course done, and I'm gonna start that up again soon now that I have numbers
Hmm.
for this season so that I can actually track. And it's just about building systems and being
Mm-hmm.
familiar with the content.
Do you
And
remember off the top of your head which projects you worked on? Because some of the people listening don't even know what's in there.
I did the metrics one. I came back for the social media one when
Hmm.
you live launched it. The lead magnet one, the nurture sequence.
Oh, those are good.
Um, I know
Did you
there
do
were
the
more.
website one at all?
I was
Because
pretty
you have a good
confident
website. Okay, I was
in my website,
okay.
so
I was
I
like,
I bypassed that one.
okay. Yeah, there's a lot
But
of good material in there, and farmers don't need to do them all, but usually, farmers are missing a few of these pieces in their sales funnel process, and it can, just putting a couple things in place suddenly makes things flow a whole lot easier. Yeah. So, I mean, one, how would you describe the way you feel about marketing now? Because you said at first it felt like work. Does it feel like an easier lift now?
I'm much more confident in
Mm,
what I'm creating because I have a system and a framework that I follow,
mhm.
and talking to my actual customers helped a lot
Yeah.
to know what they like, what they don't like, and so I can just talk about things that I know are interesting to them, like their garden and books that they might be interested in. And then I am able to weave in personal, kind of quirky things that only I am well equipped to teach
Hmm.
to relate with them. In particular, I'm a chemist by training, and so
I saw that.
I
Yeah, in
like
your
to
bio.
nerd out on chemistry things. And I had seen an article about pesticide approval that I like that concerned me, and so like I wrote a blog post about it and told them here's what you can do, and my customers just blew up about that. It was one of my
Mm,
highest opened emails ever,
mm,
and they I got a lot of replies too saying that like, I'm so glad you're my farmer. Thanks for being nerdy and
mhm,
keeping us in mind, and so glad that you farm the way you do, and
mhm.
things like that. And so that was a really strong relationship builder.
Yeah.
And then I also, with one of our former dogs, she got skunked like 4 times a year.
Mhm.
And so with my chemistry background, I looked at the structure and like, oh, well, I wonder if I could just use oil to get it out and then give her a good bath afterwards to get the oil out. And that's seems to work. And I shared
Mm,
that with my audience too, and they gobbled that up. So it's like being able to connect my background and just be genuine with my audience has helped for building a relationship with them.
mm. Yeah, and the credibility and the authority that you built,
Mhm.
right, as a thought leader in that space, and you can bring that into your new farming space. That's beautiful. What's bringing you momentum right now as you look forward into the future? Where do you see the energy wanting to go?
I can't really seem to think past strawberry season.
Okay.
So that's bringing me a lot of energy just because it's our first season
Yeah.
of having strawberries. And the people that I have brought into our strawberry patch so far have really loved them.
Yeah. I always
And
tell my kids to follow the energy, and that will often be a good clue of where, because when we're in our curiosity zone, when we're excited about something, it doesn't feel heavy to do the work. and people pick up on our energy. They're attracted to it. They want to come try it. They want to come buy it. And so I always like to think through that lens of what if, especially if my list feels heavy and I feel like there's a lot of have to do's, I just sort of
Mhm.
pause and say, what am I excited about? Like, where is there naturally energy going to? And sometimes, like you just said, all you can see is the first door to walk through. And door two and door number three do not reveal themselves until you walk through door number one. So I love that. One of the things you said in your email that I really liked, it was a phrase, playing in the sandbox. I have said that phrase before, so I don't know if that's why you were
Yeah.
saying it. Um, but what does that mean to you now as a marketer to play in the sandbox?
So everything that I create and put out into the world is, from a marketing perspective, is an experiment. You never
Mm-hmm.
know how it's going to go until you actually do it
Mm-hmm.
and either send the email, post the post, take that video and share it. And so it's given me a lot of freedom and flexibility to just experiment, which I naturally like to do anyway,
Mm-hmm. As a
and
scientist.
and just see what happens and be looking at the data on the other side to
Mm,
see like what worked, what didn't, what could I change for next time to make it even better.
mm. That's good. It takes the pressure off, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
you approach it from a just that different shift, that sense of what if we just experimented and played, realizing that there will be things that don't work. There will be sandbox towers that fall,
Yeah.
um, and you're like, okay, I didn't support that well enough, or that wasn't the right place, or that whatever. Yeah. Well, if there's a farmer that's listening right now, and I know there are, that feels intimidated, or maybe they're telling themselves they don't like marketing, they don't want to do marketing, they don't want to do social media or whatever. Um, Knowing where you've been and where you are now, because you've made a lot of progress, like what would you say to encourage them?
Uh, you've just got to start and find
Mm,
something that you're interested in the realm of marketing, whether that's specifically for your email list, if that seems daunting, like write about something funny that happened on the farm
mm,
that week, because a lot of your customers have no idea what goes on the farm day to day.
mhm,
Or if you're really passionate about something outside farming, like share that too, because then your people get to know you as a full person, not a 1D cutout that
mhm,
blends in with all the other noise that's out there.
mhm,
And it's okay if it's not perfect.
mhm,
Like just getting it done and being able to walk away. Like if you set a timer for 20 minutes and say, I'm going to have this done, and whatever you have accomplished at the end is what you put out into the world, like have your own back and say, this is what I did. I'll
mhm,
learn from that and move on and get better next time.
mm. So good. Wise words. Um, I I feel like after having talked to you now for over an hour, like there is hope in you just have like hope exuding off of you. You're talking about your farm with like confidence, with I feel like I know what I'm doing. I maybe you don't know exactly everything that's going to play out. There's still a lot of unknowns coming down the pike, but you're carrying yourself as if you're going to be able to handle that. And where do you think that comes from? Like, is that just because I know that when you first start out in your business, like we don't feel that way. So like what is that how does a person mature into that kind of kind of business owner?
Well, I believe in myself and my product and the relationships that I'm building with my customers.
Mm,
And just I have to trust that things will work out. Like, sure, it's a
mhm,
lot of hard work between. the initial stages and where I am now, but I'm always open to learning new things
Mhm.
and testing things out. And so I think with being able to learn and test and revise and repeat, I think you can go really far in life.
Yeah. That goes back to your initial piece of advice, just get started. Like you're not going to
Yeah.
be an ace at the beginning, but every journey just starts with the first step, and um, the path reveals itself as you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was very, very scared to start doing reels.
Mm.
And I needed a little bit of structure
Mhm.
to know what I was talking about. But now I'm having done like 14 is what I got up to.
Mm.
Before now, like I'm so much more comfortable just whipping out my phone, making sure the lens is clean and just talking, either doing a voiceover video or face to camera video and just explaining something real quick
Yeah.
and it's done.
And hitting
And
send, shipping it.
yep, yep.
Yeah. This has been so good. I really enjoyed getting a bird's eye view of your business, actually delving deeper into it and understanding how it all works. Thank you for emailing me and giving me those ideas and coming on the show. You're so articulate. Where can people go if they want to check out your website and learn about your farm?
So our website is thirstyfruitfarm.com, and you
Mhm.
can follow us either on Facebook or Instagram as well.
And watch some of her reels.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your wisdom with my audience.
Thank you so much for having me, Karina. It's been fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. There were some gems in there. Thank you, Krista, for bringing value to my audience today. Today's show notes can be found at mydigitalfarmer.com/364. And remember, I am going to include the list of those frequently asked questions that Krista would use in her reels when she was doing that tip jar concept. So if that intrigued you and you want to hear what some of those questions are, I'll make sure I list them in the show notes. Remember, if you want to get onto my email list, I have some free stuff to send you to make your marketing even stronger. You can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. If you like today's episode, I would really love it if you would leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts, or just share the link with a friend. Let help other people find out about the show. There's so much good content here, and I just want to help farmers get better at selling. I'm also on Instagram at My Digital Farmer. I'm showing up there almost every day with a marketing tip inside of stories to help keep you on track in your business. I'd love to connect with you there, especially in the main season. And I'd love it if you would come into my farm marketing school community this summer. I am going to be there a lot more regularly in the main season here because I want to support you when you are live in the moment trying to sell. This is your moment trying to increase your revenue. And so, however, I can support you, give you ideas, help troubleshoot. We've got a lot of fun activities scheduled for the next few months. So, if you want to be a part of my community and be a part of that supportive ecosystem, please head over to mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS and sign up for your first month. See what you think, see if it's valuable to you. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing week. And remember, I believe in you. Bye bye.